What is up, US power metal fans? I have a really fun one today, legitimately fun. I love bands like Virgin Steele for videos because there's so many peaks and valleys. So it really makes for better conversation. Like, you know, talking about a band like, I don't know, Jag Panzer is kind of boring because they've really never screwed up at one time. But then we got a band like Virgin Steele who, you know, on one hand is one of the mightiest power metal bands that's ever lived, but on the other hand, they've literally done stuff that's so bad that it'll actually make you laugh. So this is an interesting one. So this band has definitely been to hell and back when it comes to quality and everything in between. So Virgin Steele. So what's my take on Virgin Steele? Personally, when people say Manowar, my rebuttal is Virgin Steele. And while both bands can be cheesy, I feel like Manowar is like a child's toy compared to Virgin Steele, which I feel like is the real deal when it comes to like epicness. Now, it doesn't mean they aren't without their problems, but I've always kind of fell on the Virgin Steele side more. And of course, the band is led by Dave DeFay, I think is his name. I used to call him Dave DeFias. I don't know. I think that sounds cooler, but we'll call him Dave DeFay because I think that's probably more correct. But so my history with this band, I got into them quite late. I don't know why. Well, when I say late, we're talking like maybe around 2011, 2012-ish is probably when I started getting into this band. But they're definitely great for the most part. But let's start with my least favorite. So I'm going to do a worst to best video. My least favorite, I'm lumping everything past Black Lights of Bacchanal or whatever it's called. Everything past that, I'm all lumping together because I barely checked them out. Because when I did check them out, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So they had some albums, something Nocturnes. I almost bought that one, but I heard some of it. Something sounded off, so I never did buy it. And then they did a couple albums, and I can't even remember the title. There's like a part 1 and part 2 type of deal. And what I heard was keyboards and pianos with like Dave DeFay squeaking and squawking over them, and I was like, and I tried, and I skipped along through the YouTube video of this album, and nothing sounded like metal. It did not sound like Virgin Steele at all. It was horrible, and mainly it was the vocals and the fact that it's not heavy in the slightest bit from what I heard. This is literally like the equivalent of trying to think of something that's worse than Saint Anger or Lulu, or at least like on par. Listen to some of the new Virgin Steele. Like seriously, this is on par with Lulu and Saint Anger. It's it's really bad. How the mighty can fall. But on the everything else list, I'm putting number 13. And honestly, sometimes I wonder if Dave DeFay did he hit his head? Did he bonk his head on something? Like, it's literally that bad. Like, Saint Anger was bad, but at least I understand where they're coming from. This is like, what happened? Like, I'm actually, like, legit worried about Dave DeFay. Like, I don't know. But they do have another album that's supposedly coming out called The Passion of Something or Other. I don't know. I'll check it out, but I'm not getting excited. Anyway, okay, so the next, an actual album. Number 12, Virgin Steele, their debut. The album looks cool, but it doesn't sound as good as it looks. But I'll give this band some credit. It's their first album. It's raw. It sounds about as bad as a demo. I mean, it's their first album, so I can give them a pass on the fact that they don't have it completely together yet, and they're trying to figure out their sound a little bit. So some of the material sounds like it could be better if it were recorded better, but I don't know. It's mainly the recording, and it just sounds a little bit amateur considering where they would go from there. So that's all I gotta say about that. Number 12. Now number 11, Black Lights of Bacchanalia. I don't know if I said that right. Sometimes I just call it the Black Light of Bananas. I don't know. I get it wrong. This album sounds like one of the best, like on paper, like if you listen to it, like just little clips of it, it sounds like it's going to be another House of Atreus or Invictus or something cool like that. But then you actually listen to it and it's nothing like that. It's very, it sounds like those albums, but Dave DeFay is falling asleep at the helm. That's what it sounds like. It just sounds like they're kind of coasting on this one. I don't know. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard. At least it sounds respectable. It's not something like, it doesn't make me laugh. It's not like that bad or anything. But it's just very, very mediocre. I hate to say it because musically it sounds like it's kind of there. It's just mediocre. But anyway, number 10, Life Among the Ruins. This one was an obvious commercial grab, which apparently did not work. Virgin Steele is a victim of one thing, especially from the 80s. They really can't decide if they want to be a power metal band or if they want to be a cock rock band, and they've really been teeter-tottering on that. No, I'd say they're mainly more of a power metal band, but it's like they've really been fighting that urge to be a cock rock band. And Life Among the Ruins is basically the fulfillment of all those cock rock, urges. It's basically an album full of trying to be commercial. There's really nothing all that epic about this. Now, on the other hand, though, I will say this. It's not as bad as some people make it out to be. Actually, if you're in the right frame of mind, it can be fairly enjoyable. I just don't think it's one of, I'm going to reach for other albums before this one on any given day, but if you got a wild hair, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just not the best. So that's Life Among the Ruins. Just mainly hard rock, commercialism. Yeah, that's it. Number 9, House of Atreus 2. This is good. I do got a problem with both House of Atreus albums. While they're very epic and very musical, they do kind of suffer from bloating, really, really bad bloating. And I believe this one's a 2 CD thing. It's sad. I actually forget because I don't listen to this one as much as some of the other ones. And I got them on my phone, so I don't actually get out the CDs anymore. So, House of Atreus 2 has a lot of good epic moments, but then there's a lot of interludes and keyboard stuff and a lot of just filler fluff, just kind of, especially the second disc. This first disc I feel like is a little more business as normal, heavy metal, but the second disc gets a little more like, okay, get to the point. But it's a relatively good album, though. I mean, it's not one to throw away. It's just not one of the better ones. There's some better ones. Let's just say that. Guardian of the Flame. So, this is their second album. A huge, massive improvement over the self-titled Virgin Steele album. This one gets everything pretty well right. The production's much better. The songs are very memorable. Dave DeFay, I don't think he's completely found his voice yet. He's singing a little more clean. He kind of added a little bit of raspiness to his voice later, but man, the songs are really good here, and they're trying to be epic. There's a little bit of hard rock elements in it, but that's not a bad thing. It actually works quite good here. So, yeah, this is the first this is kind of where Virgin Steele actually started, in my opinion, if you want to go, like, by quality. But yeah, definitely a keeper. So now we're getting into the better stuff here. Visions of Eden, number 7. This album suffers from one thing. It does have fake drums on it. Now, and I will say this is probably the very last Virgin Steele album in the catalog that's totally worthwhile. This one only beats out Guardians of the Flame, or Guardian of the Flame, whatever, only because the music is just so dang good and epic, and even though it's with its problems, it's still very powerful. So, you know, I'm really happy that Dave DeFay had it in him to squeeze out one more big epic, and but enjoy it, because it definitely goes downhill from there. But yeah, it's basically like another House of Atreus / Invictus type of album. So yeah, anyway, next, number 6, Age of Consent. I'm a little surprised I put this above Visions of Eden, but I actually highly enjoy this album. It's not perfect. Again, there's a couple of tracks on here that it's trying to be, you know, your cock rock. Definitely some bad offenders on there, but there's some really good stuff on here, like really epic. What's the song called? Like the Burning of Rome? Something like that. That's a great song. Roar's a good song. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's like a younger brother to Noble Savage that kind of gets overlooked. And they're almost equal in quality, but we'll talk about that. Number 5, Noble Savage. Okay, the only reason why Noble Savage edges out Age of Consent is because some of the songs on here, while there's still, again, a couple of cock rock moments here, like Rock Me, oh boy. The song, once it gets into it's not bad, but that beginning is like, what are you thinking, Dave? But anyway, the songs on here have some really, like the song Noble Savage is one of the best songs in the whole catalog. No doubt. Awesome song. It's almost like, how'd you even come up with this? It's so good. Then you got some good stompers like Tooth and Nail, or Fight Tooth and Nail, or whatever. And you know, it's just a solid album for the most part, minus a couple of tracks. But just for creativity reasons, it edges out Age of Consent. House of Atreus Part 1. This is awesome. Like especially the first half or so. I mean, this album's like perfect. Like the first half, it's some of the best. It's the only thing that really what it really makes me think of in quality and in this type of epicness when it comes to concept albums is, picture Blind Guardian, like Nightfall and Middle Earth. I'm not saying it sounds like Nightfall and Middle Earth, but this is like the Virgin Steele equivalent of Nightfall and Middle Earth. It's so good. The vocals, the way he uses them is spot on, perfect. Like Dave DeFay is honestly an amazing vocalist, as well as an amazing pianist / keyboardist. But you can really tell, like, the dude's got some skill. Now, sometimes he uses those skills the wrong way, and it just sounds dumb. Listen to some of the newer Virgin Steele albums, you'll know what I'm talking about. But, no, like, this is incredible. And it actually even gets a little better from here. Number 3, Invictus. Basically, hold on a second. One problem with House of Atreus Part 1, it's got the same small issue that House of Atreus Part 2 has, and that's massive bloating, okay? Like I said, the first half is like rock solid, and then all of a sudden it gets really, really bogged down by a lot of piano and keyboard interlude and just songs. It kind of loses momentum, and it does pick back up, but it does hurt it a little bit, but the stuff that's good is like, yeah, I mean, it makes up for it. So, but that's why it's not a little bit higher on this list. But okay, back to number 3, Invictus. Invictus beats out House of Atreus Part 1 and 2 because it's not bogged down by this bloating. And I mean, it's a long album, but it's full of heavy, epic songs, and the interlude type moments are kept to a minimum. It balances out a lot better on here, and the production's great. This album's just ballsy. Dave DeFay, really, I think his like nickname is Dave the Lion DeFay or whatever. He really sounds like a lion on this album. He really does, and kind of like a better version of Eric Adams from Manowar in a way. I mean, I could tell he's probably borrowing, you know, his style a little bit here, but oh man, it's Dave DeFay's sounds incredible on this one, and the music is some of the most epic music I've ever heard. This is some legit stuff here, so definitely get this. Number 2, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell Part 2. This one's hard, okay, like, and of course, by default, you kind of know what the next album is going to be, but this one, oh gosh, so much epicness, so much atmosphere, so much euphoria out of this album. I mean, these songs are just like, dare I say, beautiful. I mean, they just are. Everything is just on par here. This is one of the best albums ever made. Along with Invictus, I can put that up there. This is one of the... Marriage Part 2 is one of the best albums ever made. There's a lot of keyboard stuff in it, but it's used really well. Yeah, I don't know. Everything is just totally on par and pretty well perfection. But it only edges out... Part 2 gets edged out just by a hair by Marriage of Heaven and Hell Part 1. And this could almost go either way. For some reason, personally, I reach for Part 1 the most, and I don't know why. There's just certain... I feel like it's a little more straightforward in a way than Part 2, as far as it's a little more metal and a little less keyboard type stuff by a hair. I don't know, not by much, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like Part 1 is just a little more organic, a little more straightforward to me. But oh man, again, as far as the atmosphere, the vocals, the melodies, the production, everything here is great. One of the best albums ever made. And so my top 3 Virgin Steele albums here, Marriage 1, 2, and Invictus, are 3 of the best albums ever made, period. This band definitely had a golden era, and this was part of it. I can throw House of Atreus Part 1 in there as well as a golden album. But man, I just wish this band could go back and relearn what they did that made them so great and get back to that. I don't know if Dave DeFay is just like bored of same old, he wants to experiment. I don't know. I can understand why somebody would want to experiment and try new things. It just does not work here. This is... He really needs to go back and try something a little different. But, yeah. So, my final verdict, the 90s Virgin Steele is the best. I can't say that very often for very many power metal bands from the 80s, especially one that's been around since like 81, 82 or so. Maybe even earlier than that, I don't know. But the 90s stuff's great. The 80s stuff just teeters too much on, you know, we're going to be power metal, but we're still wanting to be rock stars, you know what I mean? And the 2000s stuff, early 2000s, had potential, had some good moments, but then he totally threw it away post 2010. And I don't know, the Black Lights of Bacchanala, Bananas, whatever, is probably the last one that's respectable musically. And after that, I wouldn't even bother much, to be honest with you. But there we have it. that's my Virgin Steele, worst to best. If you like this video, please hit subscribe and like it, and man, I'll do more. And until next time, guys, stay metal.